This is the Royals Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Kansas City Royals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in to the Royals Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chance Liebau, and I am here to bring you a reaction to every single Royals game the rest of the season. We are here in week 2. We started about a week ago with the Cardinals series. We are going live once again here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate all of you who are hopping in. I'm sure here at 9:45 on a school night might be a little bit quieter. I see Parker hopping in the chat. Appreciate you hopping in, Parker. This podcast is a live podcast that comes to you after every Royals game. But if you miss it live, don't worry. You can catch us after the fact, wherever you get your podcasts on demand. The same place you'll find our regularly scheduled Monday through Friday Locked On podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at Chance Liebau. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're here in the live chat. If you're not here in the live chat, well, you go ahead and head over to the YouTube page and subscribe there. Turn on the bell notification while you're there, and you'll be notified every time we go live for a show. So that is a great way to be sure you can join us on a live chat, because I know a lot of people hop in the comments and encourage you to do so. Feel free to join the live chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I know it's a pretty gloomy and doomy evening here in Royals fandom, but there's 162 of these things, so don't fret it too much. This one counts just as much as the other losses do this season, as the Royals fall to the New York Yankees. Final score of 10-2. Royals dropping to 34-33. When we exited last time, we did our Sunday show, and I really felt like the offense was due for a breakout. That last inning they had in the 9th inning against a really solid White Sox bullpen that had been much better that season. They really tattooed him in the 9th. And then obviously I felt like that might be some positive momentum heading into a big series, a big homestand really, with the Yankees and A's on deck. The off day yesterday, maybe that had something to do with the fact that the offense just really didn't show up, but also the fact that, hey, the Royals faced the Cy Young frontrunner in the majors, or in the American League, in Max Fried. So before we get into what I didn't like, we'll start out with what I did like. And here's what you'll be talking about tomorrow.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The big thing that everybody's going to be talking, the inning that kind of fell away from the Royals. It was the 6th inning, it was the 6th inning that got away from the Royals. I was trying to figure out whether it was the 3rd or 6th inning. Many innings got away, but it was actually the 4th inning that got away from the Royals. A 3-run 4th inning really decided the game. The Royals were trailing 2-1 at the time. And then with 2 outs in the frame, Jason Dominguez gets a bloop single, the second of the game, into the Bermuda Triangle between Salvi, India, and Caglianone. And that kick started what would be a really poor inning from the Royals, similar to what we saw from the Royals against the White Sox in game 1 of that series. If you can remember back to Friday, where just nothing seemed to go right in that inning, and then the rest of the way. The Royals were unable to get the following batter out. It was Dominguez, and then after Dominguez reached, I'm going back to the box score. After Dominguez reached, it was LeMahieu who reached, and then obviously Austin Wells hits a 3-run homer into the right field bullpen. Cags, he's 6'5", but he's also 250 pounds, so he wasn't able to get up there and rob it. But I think that everybody's going to be talking about that inning and how it kind of fell apart for the Royals. But the one thing that I think people, and you'll be talking about tomorrow, is the fact that the Yankees had some crazy BABIP luck. And if you're unfamiliar with BABIP, batting average on balls in play, they had some crazy luck. I went back, and I'm a big Baseball Savant fan. I love Baseball Savant. It gives you some great tracking stats. If you're not a sicko, it might not be for you. If you really just like the home runs, the doubles, and whatever, stick to Baseball Reference. But Baseball Savant is a great way to go and look at those StatCast numbers that they throw up on the screen during the game. They also do expected batting average, which tracks launch angle, exit velocity, and where it's hitting the field. The Yankees had some great luck today, especially tonight, with some balls in play. I went back and looked at the expected batting average on some of the hits that they had going back. Here are some of the notable ones. An 080 expected batting average on Volpe's first inning double, a 210 expected batting average on Austin Wells' fourth inning home run, which was interesting because the home run was a home run in, I believe, 21 of 30 ballparks, but I guess in those other 9 would have been a catch by the right fielder on the track. So obviously getting that ball up in the air was really helpful for Austin Wells. 080 expected batting average on the Jason Dominguez fourth inning single that really spiraled everything for the Royals. 150 expected batting average for Judge in the 6th. 220 for Volpe on an 8th inning single that was, again, right there in that Bermuda Triangle. The one thing that everybody's going to be talking about, I don't want to call it luck because over the course of 162 games, a lot of teams are going to have hits fall their way. A lot of teams are going to have, those innings that kind of break loose for them. We haven't seen it yet from the Royals, hoping we do from here on out. But I think that for Noah Cameron, number one, got to keep the ball in the yard. I think that's the one thing that I will keep hammering home for all Royals pitchers, especially the starting pitching staff. We saw it in Chicago this weekend. We saw it tonight. When the pitchers cannot keep the ball in the yard, it is a really difficult game to win because the Royals, surprise, surprise, the 2025 Kansas City Royals are not going to outslug anybody, especially the Bronx bleeping Bombers. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. And I think that's kind of the reality we have to live in as Royals fans. They're going to win games in ugly fashion. It's kind of, I'm trying to compare it to like an NFL team, or maybe, heck, we can even compare it to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs aren't going to win very many games in 2025, 38-35. That's not how the Chiefs are going to win games with the talent that they put together, the roster that they put together. They're going to win a lot of games 23-17, 23-14. A lot of close games is what we're going to see from the Chiefs. For the Royals, they're going to have to win a lot of games 4-3, have to win a lot of games 3-1. That's kind of how the Royals are going to have to mold into a playoff team. And hey, I think that they have the roster to do that because when healthy, this pitching staff is one of, if not the best in baseball. When Cole Ragans is clicking at 100%, when Lucas Erceg is towing the 8th inning, when you have those guys that are healthy and ready to roll, it's a really good pitching staff top to bottom. Hunter Harvey's a guy we don't really mention that much. But when you have those guys healthy and ready, the team is just much better. And they don't have those guys right now. And I think that right now, that's why you're seeing the Royals, I don't want to say fall apart, but certainly at this point right now, the Royals are in a tough position to climb out of a hole that they seemingly keep digging themselves in with the offense. But the other thing, I usually, when I do these shows, I'll go through what I like and what I didn't like. What I did like, everybody else lost. Hey, the Royals are still about a game and a half out of the wild card spot because the Astros are currently losing to the White Sox. The Mariners are losing to the Diamondbacks right now. The Guardians lost to the Reds 1-0. Rays lost to the Red Sox 3-1. And the Twins got whacked by the Rangers 16-4. So it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. The Royals are still in the thick of things. And for people that want the Royals to sell, maybe go back and watch 2018, 2019 Royals baseball because this team is not going to sell, at least in their current state. I don't think that this team is going to sell. I don't think the parts that they have are worth selling off. I don't think that they're going to get much for Seth Lugo. And if they did, who are you going to replace him in the rotation with? Michael Lorenzen? I just don't see that being a fathomable thing for the Royals to do here at the deadline. What are you going to do with Carlos Estevez? Are you going to trade him? He's your closer next season. It's very much a challenge for Royals fans who are so used to this team being miserable, being dreadful, and wanting them to, I don't want to say push to compete in 2026, but, I think that all 30 MLB teams want to compete in 2026. And I just think that that's kind of the reality. That's what you're going to deal with. So I don't think that this season is a loss just yet, a deflating loss. Hey, you went up against the Cy Young frontrunner, the best pitcher in the American League, with a 25-year-old rookie. And for the most part, until that 6th inning fell apart at the hands of probably your 5th best pitcher out of the bullpen, you're right in that game and ready to compete. I don't think Noah Cameron pitched the Royals out of this game. And I don't know. I feel like they were I felt like they were in it for the most part until, of course, that dreadful 6th inning came to pass where you give up 5 runs and you're already, checking out of your seat. And the only thing you're really waiting for is Jac Caglianone to step up back to the plate. All right, speaking of Jac Caglianone, when we come back from the break, we'll talk about Jac Caglianone. Had his first career hit at Kauffman Stadium. Was tonight a good sign or a bad sign for Caglianone going forward? And this Royals lineup, what does it mean for him? Is he solidified in that 6-7 hole, or does he need to move up? We'll talk about that next on the Royals Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, time now to talk about our sponsor of today's video. Sponsor of today's video. It is Supply House. Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with your order? Supply House offers expert support for an industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Now, time to tell you about our second sponsor of today's video, Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it is very easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right. Well, tonight was the home debut, the Kauffman Stadium debut for Jac Caglianone, the top Royals prospect, who had a solid week, I felt, in his 6 games across St. Louis and Chicago, especially that 4-for-4 performance against the White Sox to kind of save the week for him. Tonight, I felt like he was in command when he was in the box. I mean, you saw how much Max Fried respected Jac Caglianone with how he approached him. I was very impressed. That first at bat with Max Fried, you could tell Fried was kind of amped up for it a little bit. He kind of took it as a challenge. I think, when I was pitching, if I was on the mound and a 22-year-old kid comes to the plate to a roaring standing ovation for 10 seconds while I'm waiting to deal, I might take a little bit of a personal offense to that. And I felt like that was kind of what Max Fried felt when Jac Caglianone stepped to the plate with his first at bat. You heard if you were listening to the TBS broadcast, the national broadcast, they were talking about, Fried's fastballs were the fastest they had been all night. That were the hardest pitches he had thrown all night. It felt like he wanted to get Cags out. Challenges him with a fastball early. Cags feels like he's on time, just chips it foul. Then later in the at bat, gets a curveball up and in where Fried is kind of trying to chase him off the plate. And Cags, he stays in. It's not like he backed off the plate. I believe it was a fastball down that he, kind of chopped in a swinging bunt and was able to drive in a run. But still, I felt like Cags was in control for the most part tonight. And then obviously the cherry on top was the fact that he got the single into right field in the 9th inning. If you stayed along to watch, or if you were already preparing for this Locked On podcast or our postcast, then you probably didn't see it. But Cags had a 110-mile-an-hour single on a right field in the 9th inning, obviously in garbage time. But still, felt very good about what Cags did at the plate today. I do not feel like he'd been overmatched all season, and I felt like tonight, I think Jack floated it today on his, or I believe it was yesterday, on his regularly scheduled Locked On Royals podcast. But he said that it would be a bad idea for the Royals not to have Caglianone in the lineup against Max Fried, who's one of the best left-handed pitchers, because as we've known this season, Matt Quatraro likes to balance righty-lefty. Keeping Cags in the lineup against one of the most vicious left-handed pitchers in the entire league was certainly a choice, but obviously wanted the home debut for Cags to go, obviously, how they sold it to be. I'm sure that the Royals marketing team was very much not telling Quatraro, but I'm sure it was very much it'd be really bad if in front of a sold-out, packed-out crowd that we didn't hit Jac Caglianone in the lineup. But against one of the best left-handed pitchers, one of the most challenging pitchers in baseball, I felt like Jac Caglianone looked like he belonged. Other than that Cardinals performance in that hat trick in Game 2 of the doubleheader, I've been very impressed with the Jac Caglianone approach, the Jac Caglianone experience. A lot of people are going to say that his defense in right field, especially on those Bermuda Triangle hits, was suspect. But hey, they did not call up Jac Caglianone to win a Gold Glove in right field. If Jac Caglianone dives for a ball that he can't get to save a 8-1 game from being a 9-1 game, and he strains his shoulder or something, there's going to be a lot of people, especially Royals fans, that are pissed, including myself. If Jac Caglianone dives for a ball to save it from being an 8-1 game to a 9-1 game and hurts himself doing so, I'm going to lose my marbles. Jac Caglianone was called up to the team for the offense. He could be playing center. He could be catching. You could throw him on the mound and just have no DH for the game for all I care. I want Jac Caglianone in the lineup. I don't care where you play him. That's my 2 cents. I don't care how he plays in right field. The Royals have had much worse experiments in the outfield. Real fans remember when Eric Hosmer would have to play right field when the Royals were in the National League when the universal DH wasn't a thing. So there's a lot worse defensive outfielders that the Royals have had to endure, and none of them have the power that a Jac Caglianone has, even in his early stages of his career. So in terms of tonight, it's disappointing. 10-2 loss is obviously not what you want to see. But at the same time, the Royals are going to they play again tomorrow. Chris Bubic is towing the hill. I think that the fact that you push Bubic's start back, getting him an extra day of rest, number one, but also number two, you're putting him up against Clark Schmidt instead of against the favorite for the Cy Young. So you have a much more winnable start tomorrow for Chris Bubic compared to today. And you still have Seth Lugo on the hill on Thursday with an opportunity against Will Warren, who, for all intents and purposes, is not exactly a needle mover, in my opinion. But I think the Royals come out, and I know that some fans weren't exactly happy with the performance they put on display tonight. I think the Royals go out tomorrow, and I think they win. I think the Royals, behind Chris Bubic, putting together a quality offensive performance, I think that the Royals are able to take at least one from the Yankees. Somebody asked Jack on Twitter, what are kind of your expectations? What's a good series or a good homestand for you? 4 out of 6. And I think that's kind of got to be the Royals' mantra the rest of the way. Got to win 4 out of 6 or take 2 out of 3. Just take 2 out of 3. They've split a ton. That's all the Royals have been doing, really, it's felt like this season. It's time for them to start winning series, whether that's winning the series with the Yankees or, taking 1 of 3 with the Yankees and sweeping the A's this weekend. The Royals are in a position where they need to be playing better baseball, and I think that this is the homestand to start it, whether it be against the Yankees tomorrow or against the A's this weekend. I'm confident the Royals are going to break out of their slump at some point here in the next week or two. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. If you are still in the live chat, appreciate you so much. Be sure to hit like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell notification. We'll be back here tomorrow night once again around the same time, planned for about 9:45. We'll be back here tomorrow reacting to a hopeful Royals win against the Yankees. Chris Bubic on the hill tomorrow against Clark Schmidt in an ALDS rematch tomorrow. I'm Chance Liebau saying thanks so much for listening to the Royals Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.